What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Sal G, and you're tuning into another edition of the Wraparound on It's a Wrap Network. Check out that banner below. Please make sure you give us a like, share, and subscribe so we can get all this hotness, this fresh out the oven content that It's a Wrap has right to your feeds wherever you consume your social media. However you consume it, you'll find It's a Wrap there. So make sure you do all those things I just said. Please obey. What's going on, guys? I'm doing pretty good. Hope you all have a great weekend. I'm still flying high off this Eagles Super Bowl win, man. It's just the bludgeoning that the Philadelphia Eagles gave the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat them 40-22, and really it wasn't even that close of a game. 16 points were scored on gutter, garbage time touchdowns, whatever. Points still count, but the game was never that close. The Eagles just demolished the Chiefs in that Super Bowl. And me, being the nervous Nelly that I am, you know, I didn't think we were going to win until Devontae Smith caught that YOLO ball by Jalen Hurts to put the Eagles up, 34 nothing at that point. And I was in the late in the third quarter, and then I was like, all right, we're gonna win this game. And man, if I wasn't, I was thinking shutout too, man. I was like, we're gonna shut these guys out, make the biggest statement win in Super Bowl history. I don't. I didn't look up to see if any other team had been shut out in Super Bowl history. It probably happened, but according to CBS, and I did a look up here, I was reading an article. Brian Diardo of CBS ranked the Eagles' Super Bowl performance the most dominant since the year 2000. So he went back 25 years, and out of 25 teams, he ranked them all in order. The Eagles were number one. And I'll just read some of the stuff he was saying. Their 18 wins are tied for the most in NFL history and most by any Super Bowl champion this century. Eagles capped off their historic season with a decisive win over a team that was on the precipice of history. We stopped the Chiefs from getting that three-peat. The Chiefs, Pete, they were trying to trademark all that stuff, trying to win three Super Bowls in a row. And the Eagles said, ain't happening, son. Ain't happening today. No other Super Bowl winning team this century had a top 10 quarterback, two top 20 receivers. So Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, two top 20 receivers, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, the 2,000-yard rusher, Saquon Barkley, your MVP of the regular season and playoffs, a big, powerful offensive line, and a second-ranked scoring defense that wreaked havoc on quarterbacks without having to blitz. And he says that's why they're number one. All right, so they were total domination, okay? Out of the past 25 Super Bowls since the year 2000, CBS has them ranked number one as the most dominant. My man Adam checking in saying, what's up, Sal? What's going on, Adam, man? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're still riding high off that Eagles win, man. I still am. I'm still feeling it, guys. 40-22. And going into the game, my prediction was the Eagles either lose by one possession, and I believe if it came down to one possession and Mahomes had that ball last, he could have performed some magic there, but he didn't. Where I said the Eagles would win by double-digit points, and man, did they? Did they win by double-digit points? Yes, sir. Destroyed them. The battle between defensive coordinators. You have Vic Fangio for the Eagles, Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs. All right, there was the battle there. Who was going to come out on top? Well, it was Vic Fangio by a mile. Vic Fangio said, we're going to stop Patrick Mahomes. And that, in turn, is going to stop that Kansas City offense. And they did it without blitzing one single snap. I mean, that's unheard of, guys. As much pressure they had 6 sacks on Mahomes in the game. 6 sacks, tons of pressures, and they didn't blitz one time. Steve Spagnuolo's philosophy was if you stop Saquon Barkley, you'll stop the Eagles. And they did a great job on Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley only had 57 yards rushing on 25 carries. That's just over a smidge over 2 yards a carry, little over. They stopped them, but they couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. They couldn't stop A.J. Brown. They couldn't stop Devontae Smith. They couldn't stop the Eagles' defense. And they couldn't do anything to that Eagles' offensive line. Hurts had time to throw, made the throws when he needed to. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo gambled, and he gambled wrong. He said, we'll stop Saquon, and they couldn't do it. They just couldn't do that stuff. Adam's saying most dominant wins since the 49ers beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl in 95. Man, I remember that game too. Stan Humphries, Deion Sanders, he had a pick six in the game. He might have had 2 pick sixes. I think he had a couple. And he was doing his Deion dance. Yeah, man. Ricky Waters, right, was on that team. Most dominant win since the 49ers beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl in 1995, 49-26. There you go. There it is, folks. Adam saying he watched the whole game again on Saturday night and still got excited when we scored. I'm going to watch it again, Adam. I got to find some time, but I'm definitely going to watch it again, and then I can just, fast forward commercials or whatnot. So, should be good times. But man, recap this game a little bit. I'm going to go back because I didn't even have a chance to recap last week. I was just talking about just how awesome the Eagles were and what this championship meant to the city and how dominant they were. But man, first drive of the game for the Eagles in the first quarter, A.J. Brown gets called for an offensive pass interference, and it was a ticky-tack foul. We thought the game was going to turn out like it was like the officials are in bed with the Chiefs again. That's how I thought it was going to play out. And then you saw Saquon. Or real quick, I'm going to just bring this comment up. Adam, I saw the mic'd up too, man. I sat down and I was like, I'll watch a few minutes of this. I ended up watching the whole 45 minutes of it. Yeah, that was wild, man. That was so great to watch. And one of the things during the mic'd up, after that first drive where the A.J. Brown got called for that offensive pass interference, you see Saquon Barkley. He was like, chill, guys, chill. We got this. We got this. Don't let it bother you. And I showed you the type of leader that Saquon was, because not only Saquon does that, but you had multiple players come up to Saquon and said, "We're here because of you." They did everything they could do to stop you. This is multiple guys. Jalen Hurts was saying this to him. Howie Roseman was saying it to him. You're the missing piece. You're the reason why we're here. Because Saquon didn't have a good game, but that wasn't his fault. They game planned. Essentially, Steve Spagnuolo's game plan was stop Saquon Barkley at all costs. Don't let him beat you. Let Jalen Hurts beat you. Okay? He did. He did enough. And another thing I noticed during the game, you saw the crowd there was pro Eagles. There was way more Eagles fans than there were Chiefs fans. They booed Taylor Swift when she was on the Jumbotron. That was funny. Kind of felt bad for her though, because she was kind of like, what did I do? Thinking everybody. I don't want to hate. I don't hate her. Dude. I'm not into her music, man. I'm an old man. I know she's talented. She got skills. Probably every song you hear on the radio by a female artist, I bet you like 1 in 3 songs are probably hers, if not more. But then on the Eagles' second drive, they got a personal foul though, but it was on the Chiefs. Chiefs committed that foul. And it was a big catch by Jahan Dotson that set up the Jalen Hurts tush-push touchdown, put the Birds up 7-zip. And Jalen Hurts had 10 rushing touchdowns in the postseason, leads NFL all-time. Leads the NFL all-time. Jalen Hurts is 26 years old, guys. He's 26 years old. Do I think he's going to beat Tom Brady's Super Bowl record? No. Do I think he can win 3 more Super Bowls in the rest of his career? Let's say he's got 10 more years left, takes him to 36. Could he win 3 more in 10 years? Yeah, I say it's possible. Could he win 2 more in 10 years? I say it's very likely. Could he win 1 more in 10 years? And I say yes. Yes, he can. It's going to happen next year. Mark my words. Cut the tape. The Eagles are going to go back-to-back Super Bowl wins. It's going to happen. We might not have repeat winners in the NFC East it hasn't happened in 20 years. But we're going to have a repeat Super Bowl champion, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles, baby. Hurts only blemish in the game, he threw a pick on the Birds' third drive of the game. No big deal, though. He recovered for that. It was the first interception that Hurts threw since November. So Hurts has done a good job of protecting the football. You want to call him a glorified game manager? I don't care. All Jalen Hurts does is win. That's all he does. All he does is win games. And all Nick Sirianni does is win games. I know I was the biggest Nick Sirianni hater this season when they were 2-2. I said, man, this guy don't have this team. I mean, look how they crapped the bed the year prior, lost 10 straight, or they were 10. I mean, they were 10-1, right? And they just got crushed every game after, losing, limp into the playoffs, and just get blown out first round. I thought Sirianni, he lost the team. So I said 2-2, they're on the bye, can them. And instead of canning them, and they thought about firing them after last season. They did, because Jeffrey Lurie was like, we got to take some time. He didn't flat out give a vote of confidence to Nick. Felt like there was a week or two where there was a lull, a lot of quietness, and you were wondering. But whatever they did at the end of the offseason last year, well, we know what they did. They brought in a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, brought in a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. But at that bye week, Sirianni had to be open to changing things up. He listened to his players. He listened to his coaches. I'm sure he listened to the owner too. Let's change things up a bit. I got this shiny new Ferrari I bought. That's what Jeff Lurie's saying about Saquon Barkley, and I want to give it a ride. I want to drive that thing. Let's drive it into the ground. And from that bye week on, that's what the Eagles did. They rode Saquon Barkley into the ground. Luckily, he still got some tread on those tires because he didn't blow any tires. And that was a concern. I know if he was playing that final game of the season, he would have broke Dickerson's record. No matter, you never know what could have happened. Somebody give him a cheap shot on the Giants. You never know. Haters going to hate, and somebody might have tried to do him dirty. So forget about that. Eagles go up 10-0 on a field goal by Jake Elliott. How about Jake Elliott, man? He was perfect in the Super Bowl, man. As shaky as he was in the playoffs and during the regular season, missing all them field goals. He comes up aces in the Super Bowl, gets that field goal, Birds up 10-0. And then this is the turning point of the game right here. Kansas City's fourth drive. It's in the second quarter. Josh Sweat gets a sack. Then you have Jalix Hunt with a sack. Back-to-back sacks. Jack. Then Cooper DeJean picks it off. Runs towards the end zone. Gets into the end zone. Evades a tackle or two. Returns that puppy for a touchdown. Eagles up 17-0. Cooper DeJean's birthday present. It was his birthday. Birthday boy, my man just turned 22, right? 22, 23. Whew. Man, I wish I was that young again. It was also Saquon Barkley's birthday. So they couldn't get better presents than that, man. No better present than winning the Super Bowl, guys. Seriously, man. No better present. And then you got Milton Williams on the Kansas City next drive. Sack. It's just crazy, man. There's the pressure without blitzing, man. The front four of the Eagles is so nasty and so dangerous. And you know they can't keep everybody. Josh Sweat most likely gone. Milton Williams most likely gone. Zach Baun, you have to sign him. Make him be a priority. But you know Zach Baun, man. You can't blame him for chasing the bag. It's his opportunity. But think about it. Think about it, Baun. And I know somebody asked him a question. A reporter asked him the question. He said, you could play here. Maybe you could get a few more million somewhere else, but that team will be so bad. Like if he were to go back to the Saints right now, Kellen Moore wants him, signs him back, get a lot of money. It's always the crappy teams that have the most money to flash. Throw some money at Baun. If it's 5 million more, I don't know, man. I don't like what's the number where it's like, yo, man, I could still make good money, but I can be on a winning team. That's got to play through their heads a little bit. Yeah, the money's nice, man. And I don't know if it's a million, if you're making 50 million and you have an opportunity to make 5 million more, do you jump for five? I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I never had that type of money, man. And right now I'm saying, yeah, I would. But I'm also saying if I won the lottery, I would pick that cash option where it ends up like splitting the jackpot in half. So if it's like $500 million Powerball, I'd be like, nah, man, I want the cash option all right now. I'm not waiting 20 years to get paid out, sir. Then they split it in half. They give you 250 million. So that's leaving money on the table. That's leaving 250 million. I'm just saying with Zach Baun, leave like 5-10 million on the table to still play for a winner. I hope he would. I'm not expecting him to do hometown discounts. I don't expect anybody to do that. I think that's BS. It's unfair to ask a player to do anything like that. If he it's the best decision for him and his family. If he wants to make the most money he can make, more power to him, man. I mean, Eagles could have tried to sign him earlier. They didn't. I don't know if it's just no negotiations during the regular season or what, but man. And Zach Baun gets a pick on Kansas City's sixth drive. And the Eagles put that ball from the 14-yard line into the end zone. A.J. Brown gets a touchdown. Inner excellence, 24-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Man, they were stomping a mud hole and walking it dry with these guys, man. Stomping it. Barkley passed Terrell Davis for the most scrimmage yards in a season, an entire season. That counts the playoffs. So that was cool to see. Kansas City had 23 total yards at the half, guys. 23 total yards. Eagles had 2 interceptions and 3 sacks by halftime. It's crazy, guys. Tacked on 3 more sacks in the second half. It's wild. Josh Sweat, man. 2.5 sacks in the game. Mahomes looking shook, looking defeated, looking scared, looking like he's got no prayer. He's got no hope, no light at the end of that tunnel. Eagles just keep adding points. Another field goal by Elliott. Third quarter, 8th drive for the Birds, 27-0 Eagles. Guys. And then the cherry on top, that was the YOLO ball in the third quarter, 46-yard touchdown, a bomb by Jalen Hurts. Beautiful pass. He throws a hell of a deep ball, man. Haters going to hate on Hurts, man, but you can't hate that deep ball, man, because that's nice. Devontae Smith with a nice catch there. It was in the middle of the field too. Hurts don't go in the middle too often, but he did on that play. 34-0. And at that point, I was like, whew, the Eagles got this. It took me till they got 34 points till I was comfortable in saying, yeah, we're going to win. Even if they come back to score a bunch of points, they're not going to score 34 in a quarter and change. Not going to happen. And then, of course, what happens? Kansas City gets a touchdown. And I'm like, oh, shit. Here we go. He gets 2 touchdowns rather quickly. But then the Eagles tack on another field goal. Jake Elliott makes it 37-6. And then We have another field goal, makes the Eagles up 40-6, and then DeAndre Hopkins got a touchdown, made it a 40-14 game because they got the 2-point conversion. And then you had the late score, 50-yard touchdown bomb to Xavier Worthy. Worthy had himself a game. Watch out for that guy. I want him on my fantasy team next year. But other than that, F the Chiefs. Eagles destroy them in overwhelming fashion, 40-22. I would guess that everybody outside of Philadelphia thought that was one of the shittiest Super Bowls ever. But for an Eagles fan, it was pretty darn good, right? It was pretty darn fun to watch. I had a great time. I had a great time with it. Bricked up is greater than O's? My man Steve, what's up, brother? Oh, Adam saying, I'm glad the Eagles kept running the ball because it set up the long pass to Devontae Smith. That's right. You can't stop running the football, even if they're clogging. Because you know what? They had all them men in the box. Hey, there's always a chance there's just a small opening that Saquon goes through, and that's a home run. So there's always a chance, too. He finds that little seam. 8 bricks is great. I don't know what the other thing is. That infinity symbols? Is it donuts? Circles? O's? I want to beat the Cowboys in Super Bowls. Yeah, baby. Yes, sir. I wouldn't mind that. You can't though, right? You can't beat the Cowboys in Super Bowls unless the Eagles or the Cowboys go to the AFC. That's it. Was that the reason? Sirianni shaved his head. Sirianni goes, "Look, man, I see Sal G with that bald hair, man. He's got the beard. He's looking good. I want to try and look like that guy. I'm going to shave my head and watch this team turn around." And you know what? You could say I was the inspiration for Nick Sirianni to get his head shaved, and that ended up being a good luck charm for them, and they go and win all those games. So there you go. There you have it. Sal G, inspiration for Nick Sirianni, baby. Jake Elliott was booming the kickoffs too. I mean, he had that adrenaline pumping, guys. And Adam's saying, what you think of the Eagles moving up within the team to replace Kellen Moore? Well, that's good that moving up within the team. So yeah, we'll get into that right now. Coordinators. Coordinators. So some OC candidates. So top candidate right now was Kevin Patullo. So he's currently on the team. He was a longtime companion of Nick Sirianni. Worked with him back in the Colts. So they have a long history together. And Patullo has had a hand in this offense since joining the team as a pass coordinator in 2021. So Sirianni trusts Patullo. You know, you got to think it's not just going to be Sirianni's decision, though. It's going to be Howie Roseman's. It's probably going to be Jeffrey Lurie's. But you know whose input you need to get? You need to get Jalen Hurts. He needs to say, or he needs to buy in. And whoever you interview or whoever you bring in, it has to be somebody that Jalen Hurts is cool with. It has to be that he can get with. You know, Jalen Hurts has had what, 7 coordinators in 8 years as playing professional football and plus college. I mean, that's wild. And other candidates for offensive coordinator. This is my source here for this was Cody Benjamin from CBS. So he lists Josh McCown. Remember, Josh McCown was a backup quarterback for the Eagles. He doesn't have a lot of experience though as a coordinator, but he's a popular name in coaching circles. Served as a mentor role for Sam Darnold. So he was the Minnesota Vikings quarterbacks coach. So, and they actually supposedly the Eagles offered McCown a job back in 2018 after he was done playing. Remember that the last performance that McCown had for the Eagles, he had to come in. QB got hurt. Was it Hurts that got hurt, or was it Wentz? One or the other. got hurt, and McCown came in, and he got hurt. He had like he broke his ribs in the game. We had no chance of winning the game, but Josh McCown showed as much heart as I ever seen any player in a game. Battling through. I mean, it's funny because Josh McCown looks like Ivan Drago, but he played like Rocky Balboa here in Philadelphia. It was hats off performance to McCown. I mean, obviously, you knew he didn't have the talent to come back to win, but he was also so beat up in that game. He was getting destroyed. Uh, Other coordinators are possibilities are T. Martin, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, spent the last 2 seasons as Lamar Jackson's position coach in Baltimore. So that's an option. Jared Johnson, Houston Texans quarterback coach. Quarterback for the Texans is C.J. Stroud, and he looks like he's pretty good. So, Jaron Johnson could be an option. Marcus Brady. Brady worked as the Indianapolis Colts quarterbacks coach when Sirianni was still there and took over for Sirianni once he left. And he spent a year in Philly as an offensive consultant. So watch out for Marcus Brady. There's a chance he could come over. But it looks like, if I had to guess, I'm going to say it's Kevin Patullo. I think they go back to inside. They hire from within. But you remember, they hired from within with Brian Johnson, and that didn't work out, right? That didn't work out at all. And I'm saying Sirianni said if we score here, it is over. Call to play. That was the Devontae play. Frank Reich, Adam. You know what? That was a name that we were talking about here. I wouldn't mind Frank Reich coming back. I don't see Dougie P coming back because Sirianni replaced Dougie, and I don't know if that would be like awkward and weird. You remember Doug left. I think they would have kept Doug if Doug would have did what Sirianni did, which was let us fire your coordinators and bring in new guys, and you can stay. And Doug was like, no, I'm not firing those guys. So I could see Frank Reich. I don't see Dougie P though. I don't see that happening. Adam saying I'm running high on the Eagles, but the Phillies started. Let's go Phils. I will be talking about the Phils. We'll be talking about them, brother. Okay, there it was. Wentz got hurt. Josh McCown came in. And yeah, man, you know what? Like, I wasn't hating on Josh. I was like, man, this dude's giving it all he's got. He was visibly hurt. I think they said he had cracked ribs at the end of the game. But I think he also like twisted an ankle. Like, my man was effed up big time. But he showed heart. He finished the game out. We didn't win, but it wasn't his fault at all. He did what he could do. But how about that parade, guys? Talk about the Eagles parade, man. Anybody get to go down there? I would have liked to have gone down, man, but I got to be honest with you. I didn't have any place where I can go. So I'm not going to I'm not going to wait in line for 2 hours for a porta potty. I'm not doing the New Year's Eve rock a diaper. I'm not doing that. I'm an old man. If I had like a spot, like of somebody's house I could have went to that lived off abroad, that's the way to do it, guys. If you have connections, you got family, friends living off abroad or nearby there where you could just walk, but going like to the art museum, I heard 1.7 million people. That's wild, man. That's wild. And it's funny, man, because I watched the parade. I had it on in the background while I was working. I don't want to make like I wasn't working because I was, but it was on. I was listening to it, and I was checking in and listening to the speeches and all. And I was dying. I was dying with the speeches because everybody that talked, every player that talked, couldn't get through the speech without an F bomb. So the whole time, it's like they're trying to hit that cough button, the suppression button, that button to just say, "Oh, curse, bleep it out," and they bleeping everything but F out, the F word, and I was dying with that. That was cracking me up. So Howie Roseman took a Miller Lite can off the head. You could see like it was the top of the can that cut him because he had like a half crescent cut on his head, so you could tell it was like the front end of the can, right, with the lip on the top. It was king right in the head, man, and you wonder, man, did he do that to himself, man, or somebody? Because I hope people aren't throwing full beer cans at people on the bus. But I wonder if he was trying to do like a Stone Cold Steve Austin and just and smash the can in his head and he just cut himself up, you know. Because they were all everybody was tuned up pretty good, man. I saw everybody had a bottle or a cup of something, man. So everybody was having a good time. Um, I think my favorite speech, say my least favorite speech was the mayor of Philadelphia. She would have saved that speech. She was going on and on and on. Nobody wanted to hear her talk. And but she would have been able to save that speech if she would have just finished it off saying ESGLSES Eagles. If she would have did that, man, place would have erupted. Remember, that was the mayor that didn't spell Eagles correctly. So um, that was the least favorite. But the best might have been AJ Brown. AJ, short to the point. Big Don was funny. He's like, "Oh, Philly, I love you guys. That's all I got." That was funny. I thought Don was gonna like start talking and try and do a Kelsey. Nobody tried to do the Jason Kelsey speech, and that's probably a right move. Nobody could do that. Jalen Hurts is cool. It looked like he wasn't in 100% comfortable being up there. I don't know if he had anything written out, but as far as I'm concerned, he might not be the most eloquent of speakers, but my man's got heart, and I think he's a fine leader for the team. And he deserved MVP for that Super Bowl, man. And he's trying to channel his inner Michael Jordan, man. He's a spokesman for Nike, the Jump Man. They had the shirt said "Love Hurts," and it's got the Jordan logo on it. So and he's wearing the backwards Kangol, smoking cigars. He's trying to do the Michael Jordan, and that's cool, man. And I hope he wins again next year, man, because he's only 26, man. Only 26 years old. Plenty of opportunity, man. I'm saying he was going to the parade. He could have went to the K lot and then left after the buses left. Only way to get out. Yeah, that's what some people I heard did though. They were at this near the stadium part, right? Like you say, K lot or whatever. But you're at the stadium. You see them first, and you could just skate on out of there, and then you could go back home and watch the rest of the parade. So if I was going to do it, like I had work anyway, I couldn't have off work during the day. Adam saying they had a Washington fan there, a 49ers fan, and a Chiefs fan showed up. How stupid was that? Really? Like the three of them were together, or that there was just you saw them in the crowd? It was the three of them together. That's a very unlikely pairing. A very strange pairing. But yeah, that is wild. Like you're going to show up to the parade and you're wearing colors for a team that wasn't even in the Super Bowl. Like I get like, oh, I'm a Chiefs fan in Philadelphia or whatever, or you're a bandwagon Chiefs fan, like the bandwagon Dallas fans that we have in Philly that aren't from Dallas, have no connection to Dallas, but just want to rock, be the front runners. But yeah, Washington and 49ers, man, that's really weird. Oh, you saw the video. There was evidence. He got hit by a can. That's messed up, guys. You don't throw cans up there, man. That's assault, bro. If you get caught, man, that's assault. Hit somebody with a can. All right, they were all separate places in the parade. That's funny, man. So let's talk that D word. The D word being Eagles starting their own dynasty. You start a dynasty, right? You got to win one. Got to win one Super Bowl. All right. Well, they won it, and they went 2 years ago, and they won 7 years before. I'm not saying that whole stretch is a dynasty, but that period of time, you ask any teenager right now, the Eagles are the hottest thing in the world. They've always been good. They don't know what some of us old guys have been through, seeing the dregs that they rolled out, the crappiest teams for who, for what, the players that didn't care, owners that didn't care before Jeffrey Lurie came along. Was it Norman Brayman? He didn't care, man. He was as cheap as they came, man. But this team, 26-year-old Jalen Hurts, 22-year-old Cooper DeJean, 22 or 23, but he just turned whatever. He just had a birthday. Quinyon Mitchell, early 20s. Defense, Majalix Hunt, early 20s. Saquon Barkley's not old. He's only 27 years old. 28. We got him for 2 more years. So, I mean, if our window's that, I mean, you win 3. I mean, you could win these next 2, man, in this next 2-year period, and we get 3. Yeah, you're a dynasty now. We have a chance. Definitely opportunity. You're going to lose players, all right? Attrition always happens, especially when you're a Super Bowl winning team. You lose players, you lose coaches. That's the way it is. But the dynasty type teams, the Tampa Bay, the Chiefs, the Niners back in the day, and even the Cowboys, I guess, might have been one before, right? Because they won 3 in like 5 years, right? But we're going to lose. We're going to lose the defensive guys. We know we're going to lose. Sweat, Milton Williams, Zach Bond are all free agents. You're not going to be able to keep all of them. There's not enough money to go around. You're going to keep one, and the one that's the highest priority right now is a linebacker. And I don't know. Maybe the Eagles are going to see the light, or maybe they just say, "Hell, we could put anybody else there and make them get the same production." I'm wondering what they're thinking. If that happens, then I wonder if they keep Milt or Josh Sweat then. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Mekhi Becton, he's most likely gone. I mean, that's a guard. He played great. He was a convert. He was a tackle from the Jets and then play well as a tackle, moved him in the guard. But I could see the Eagles doing a similar strategy. Get a tackle that hasn't been playing well. That's big, like Mekhi Becton, and stick him at guard. Now, all of a sudden, I mean, that might be a new strategy. Could be. I mean, most of the NFL linemen, right? They're all tackles or centers, right? I mean, most tackles that are drafted from college, they could throw them in at a guard spot. So it's not like they never played tackle and or guard. I'm saying a lot of those guys. I think a tackle can play a guard easier than a guard can play a tackle. I'll put it that way. So I wonder if Mekhi Becton, they let him go. But still, man, this core of this team, Devontae Smith's still a relatively young player, man. Got some young guys here, man. We could do something. Dynasty time? Could it be for these guys? Hey, we just stopped. I think we just stopped the Chiefs. So why not us, man? We can have nice things in Philly too. Why not? We'll talk about Jalen Hurts here real quick. Jalen Hurts, most total touchdowns in a quarterback's first 2 Super Bowls. First 2 Super Bowl starts, 7. This is from Jeff Kerr. 6th player all time with 3+ total touchdowns in multiple Super Bowls. Second quarterback with a 70% completion rate, 3+ total touchdowns in multiple Super Bowls. Tom Brady is the other. So far, he don't sound like a game manager, right? Most rushing yards by a quarterback in Super Bowl history, 72, breaking his own record of 70 in that previous Super Bowl from 2 years ago. Hurts has the 2 highest single-game rushing yardage totals by a quarterback in Super Bowl history. I'm not saying he's Hall of Fame, but I'm saying he's top 5, top 6 quarterback in the NFL. That's my belief. And you can win with a top 5, top 6 quarterback. It don't have to be Trent Dilfer. 4th quarterback to win Super Bowl after losing first Super Bowl start. So it was Len Dawson, Bob Greasy, John Elway. 3rd quarterback to start and win a college football national championship and a Super Bowl. Joins Joe Namath, Joe Montana. First quarterback to defeat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, not named Joe Burrow or Tom Brady. Mahomes was previously 15-0 against quarterbacks not named Burrow or Brady. And first quarterback to win a Super Bowl drafted after Patrick Mahomes, 2018 or later. It's pretty wild. Wild stats, man. And here's something about Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, 5th player and first receiver ever to win the Heisman Trophy, a college national championship, and the Super Bowl. Charles Woodson was the last to do it. And then the other players were Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, and Reggie Bush. Fun facts there. Guys, if you're watching right now and you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like, share, and subscribe on It's a Wrap. Give a like for your boy Sal G. Give a like for It's a Wrap. Share, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, click that notification button so you can get all the latest notifications when our stuff's streaming, so you know what's going down. Still got the haters out there, Adam. We're always going to have them saying no one likes us. We don't care. That's right. That's the mantra here in Philly, baby. Slay and Maddox will be gone. Now, Slay still has a year left on his contract, but you think they just cut him to save cap space? I mean, I guess there's a chance they always bring him back. Yeah, Maddox, I assume, is gone. Bradbury's probably gone. You know who's I'm wondering if going to be gone would be Bryce Huff. He was inactive for the Super Bowl, but you just signed him to a contract. Would they cut him, or are they going to try and see? I mean, he can't be worse than he was this past year, right? It's got to be better than that. Got to be. Anyway, I've been going on way longer about the Eagles than I thought I was going to go on. But let's go break into some other things here. I'm going to talk about the well, nothing going on with the Flyers right now. They're currently on break for the Four Nations tournament. But man, the U.S. team, they're playing tonight. Game doesn't matter. They're already booked to be in the championship. You know, there's only 4 teams. So I hope it's Canada, man. I hope it's U.S. versus Canada. I don't know if anybody saw that game on Saturday, man. I watched it. I got together with a couple of buddies, watched that game. And as soon as that game started, 3 seconds in, gloves dropping, fight. I was like, yo, what's going on here? Right after that, another fight. And right after that, another fight. There were 3 fights in 9 seconds of ice time. It was pretty wild, man. Fired up. That game, man, was like old school hockey. I mean, they were really drilling each other, smashing each other. The Kachuk brothers, Matthew and Brady, man, they are good. They are good players, guys. They got some studs on the U.S. team and Canada. I mean, Canada, man. Forget about it. But we won. I'm saying we. But the U.S. team won. That was good. That was awesome, bro. Um, and it was a fun game to watch, man. It was cool because it wasn't like a blowout. It was very it was a tight game, but it was like a playoff game. It was literally like a playoff game. You know, you had the game was in Montreal. We had the Canadians booing, our national anthem. That's messed up, guys. They play your anthem here for us when you guys come over. We don't boo you, but U.S. won 3-1, and then the U.S. is playing again tonight, and they're playing against Sweden. No, yes, Sweden. They're playing Sweden tonight. Oh my God! If you want a ticket to that game, I see they're starting at $256. Woo! I'll pass, brother. Um, Are they in Boston now, or they might still be in Montreal? But the final is going to be in Boston, which is cool. I hope it's against the Canadians, man. That'll be awesome. Flyers will be back in action on Saturday, February 22nd at home against Edmonton. So that'll be the return of hockey action, NHL style. March 6th is the trade deadline. Flyers now, with their latest trade they made, have 3 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks. And I wonder, that's a hell of a lot of picks, guys. There is, are you going to really pick all those guys this year? Are you going to try and consolidate some picks, package them for next year's draft? Supposedly next year's draft is going to be better than this one, although you do have James Higgins. If there's any chance the Flyers can get him, or the other guy, I forgot his first name, but the hashtag is shitty for Schaefer. If we can get either one of them, I'm cool, but I believe Schaefer's a defenseman where Higgins is a center. And we desperately need center help, man. And I know we have Jet Lachenko in the minors, or whatever league he's in at the moment, that minor league that he can't come up. He's not allowed to be called up. It's like a junior hockey league or something. So the earliest we could see him is next season. But Lachenko could turn into a decent player, and he's a center, and it's a position of need. Maybe he could him in the Mitchkoff line. That could be something there. But man, the Flyers do have a lot of picks, and I just wonder what they can do with them. I like to see them package them up. And remember, they're going to get some more picks. Supposedly, Scott Lawton is on the block. They could move him. Yeah, you trade Scott Lawton. I heard they could get maybe a first for him. Rasmus Ristolainen, you can get a first round pick. So I know you're going to have all these firsts, dude, but there's no way you could draft like 20 guys for this year. What are you not you're playing all these guys? Can you keep them all? I don't know what they're going to do. So I just hope they're smart. I hope Danny Briere and Keith Jones, for now, I'm going to have faith in those guys. I'm going to trust them that they're going to do it. Adams going to Flyers Carnival on Sunday. Nice, man. Always heard they're a fun time. I got to get me to one of them one time. So yeah, man, we'll see what the Flyers are doing. I mean, we're speaking of the Flyers, we are going to have our mid-season clear the ice Philadelphia Flyers post-game show. It's a wrap. Mid-season check-in. Make sure you check that out, guys. Tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune into that. We'll be talking Flyers. We'll be talking about the season thus far, talking about the moves made, moves not made, goalie situation, coaching situation, lack of center, lack of defensemen. Missing a lot. We're missing a lot to be a true contender. Problem is when you're like a 500 team, you could go either way. I don't know. But the rebuilding, they're not trying to add on this year. They made it abundantly clear that whatever happens, they're not going to do it. They're not going to make a move just to make a move. If they're going to bring a center in, it's going to be a really good center, not just a center that's available. Has to be the center they want. The center they need. All right, talking about some Sixers stuff. Right now, the Sixers are on they have their own break, the All-Star break. Guys, can we please just blow this thing up? Blow it up. It looks like we are going to play Canada in the final. So it's going to be U.S.-Canada on Thursday, guys. That's going to be a game. Make sure you watch that. I can't wait for that one. Taking a look here. All right, the Sixers. Can we just blow this damn thing up, please? These guys aren't going anywhere. They stink. 20-34. They're 11th in the East right now. Here's some of the rankings. They're 22nd in offense, 23rd in defense, 28th in pace, which makes them one of the slowest teams, 23rd in three-point shooting. They stink. And despite all this, 76ers owner is confident. Despite their crappy record, team can make a playoff run and beat everybody in the East. Nah, it ain't going to happen, guys. It ain't going to happen. Because right now, you have Joel Embiid has some knee surgery. The Lisa Salters reported that he's getting a knee surgery done, where he needs a knee surgery. And you tell me who the idiots are that signed Embiid to this 3-year max contract. Unreal, guys. Daryl Morey is to blame for this, man. And people are saying, no, it's Nick Nurse's fault. Fire Nick Nurse. Well, it might be Nick Nurse's fault too. But guess what? When you got Embiid on this team, you need a guy named Nurse to keep around. But you get it, guys? You got to take care of him. You need a nurse on this team for Embiid. You need a nurse on this team for Paul George. He's hurt. He's got some stuff going on. That's got to be the worst signing of the year. Paul George. Oh my God. Guess what, guys? Should have never got rid of Jimmy Butler. You should have never got rid of him. Oh my God. You know how much aggravation that would have saved? Now, Jimmy Butler might be a nut in his own right because, Miami keeps suspending him and all this stuff. I mean, and I never get that, right? I never get that, guys. I guess it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's money and the owners don't care. But why would you want a player, right, that like Jimmy Butler right now that's doing all this stuff he's doing just because he wants to get out of town? I mean, He comes to your town. He comes to your city. Comes to your team and plays. It says a year and a half later, he's like, this place sucks too. I want out, and he does the same shit. I mean, you guys, you'd be if he were here and he did that. Like, I don't know. I don't even know. I wonder if the Flyers or the Sixers are going to make him. Well, no, they can't. Trade deadline's over, so they can't make any more moves. So forget about it. And if they wanted to get out of the Embiid, they can't trade Embiid till next year, according to the contract. Might be the same with Paul George. Can't move him yet. I wonder though. I wonder if they would move him. It would have been cool. Sixers though are coming out of the break having lost 5 straight. Only 1 win in the month of February. Yeah, they return Thursday, February 20th at home versus Boston. And guess what? That's a loss. That'll be a loss. They're not winning that game. Boston Celtics, you're defending NBA champions? I don't think so. So just blow it up, man. Just shelf Embiid. Say he needs get him the surgery now than later, right? What's the point? Just do it. Please. Put us out of our misery. This false hope that you're putting on the fan base, it isn't fair. It's not right. And it's not true. They're not going to win the finals this year. If they make the playoffs, they will get bounced in the first round. That I believe. Because no team, I looked this up, no team that started out as bad as the Sixers have been ever made it past the first round in the playoffs. They always get bumped. So, get that. All right, guys. Well, we're going to close off with some baseball talk here. I'm just seeing here. Adam's saying he saw James Harden made All-Star team last night. Yeah, apparently, James Harden's awesome again. I don't know. What is this? Is this something about Philly? Maybe it is. Maybe it is the coaching. Maybe it is. Well, we just got Nick Nurse. So if it's not Nurse, it's Morey. I mean, Morey brought in these guys, man, made these signings. It's so bad for the Sixers that the ticket prices are just $4 and the stadium is half empty. Oh, is it $4 for good seats? I might take my son. See, this is when you take a little kid to a game, and he just gets wowed. He or she gets wowed by the sights, right? And they stink. And then as they get better, you go to all these crappy games. You build up your fan resume by going to all these crappy games here. That's what you can do. That's wild, man. If they're $4, man, I gotta look at those seats, brother. Woo! All right, let's close this thing down with some Phillies talk, guys. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for the Phillies. I know a lot of people don't get into the Phillies, one until Eagles are over or the Eagles season begin. Once the Eagles season begins, and tune out baseball. Still watch it. I watch it because competitive team, covered the team, but I love baseball and I try and watch as much as I can. When they're bad, they are hard to watch because baseball is a long season, and a long season of shitty baseball is not fun for anybody. But right now, they got their window. Spring training has begun. Full squad reported today. Pitchers and catchers reported Wednesday last week. So a couple news items here. We got Phils and JT Realmuto open to extension. And they're also, for this season, going to try and limit his time at catcher, possibly playing him at left field and or DH. So I'm interested in that. I don't know how. Now, I know Realmuto came up as a shortstop, but I don't know how beneficial it is for JT to be put out in the field. And you run the risk, like when Kyle Schwarber's out there, every time Schwarber's out in the field, he gets hurt, he gets, pulls something. I don't know how Realmuto will be better than that. I don't know how it'd be good for JT. I guess being on your knees for several hours or a week isn't good. So I guess you're standing up just feels good. I don't know. I honestly don't know if I want JT to a contract extension. I kind of think like he's on the downward trajectory of his career. So at this point, it's only going to get worse. And I don't know what you're going to sign. You're going to really give him 3 years, $60 million. He's going to want like 20 million a year. I don't know. I say you'd let him go, man. I'd trade him. I don't. I don't think they would, because they want Real Muto's catching ability, the defensive ability. He's still one of the great defensive catchers in the game, while his offense now is, mediocre. Still good for a catcher, though. I'm saying, would I rather have the Phils start off real good like last year, start off average, then turn it on in July? I mean, there's not like a button you can press and say, all right, guys, from this point forward, we're going to be awesome. Like, there's no guarantee. So I like having the wins in the pocket, because at the very least, I mean, you saw what happened. They did fade a bit, but I'd rather have the stack those wins up early. Because if there's something that happens early on and you're behind, guys get hurt, and now you're in a hole, like the Sixers are in a hole. It's a hard hole to climb out of. And just because you have a hot month in July in the summer, it doesn't mean it's going to take you back up to either, being the division champs, or, anything like that. So I like having the wins. I like sure things. So I want the wins coming early and often. And I can't, if they play 500 ball and then turn it on in July and get hot, who's to say, though, that whole, then what have here's the thing. They get hot in July, and then September rolls around, and then they're dead. And we're back to, it's the same thing. So I don't know. Either way, I want wins. You make the playoffs, anything can happen. Generally, the hot teams that finished off the season going into the playoffs are the ones that go farther along, where you just happen to just get lightning in a bottle. Yeah, we should have got rid of Stubbs and got a good backup. Stubbs, though, has minor league contracts, minor league options on his deal this year. So they will send him down if they need to. You could get closer looks at Rafael Marchand. Um, the Phillies also traded for another catcher. I forgot his name right now, but he's a journeyman guy, probably just to fill in space in the minor leagues. But we have other options. We have Marchand. We have like a really young kid who's supposed to be awesome, but he's only like 18 or 19. So he's not coming up for I'm going to say at least 2 to 3 seasons. So you have that. And he's supposed to be a stud. He might be he's one of our top 3 picks, top 3 prospects, along with Aiden Miller and Crawford and Andrew Painter, of course. So now Kyle Schwarber's also open to an extension. He's a free agent after this season. Now, I like Kyle Schwarber. To me, Kyle Schwarber's the leader on this team. I think he is. And I would sign him. I would sign him a 3-year extension. But I don't know if I give him many more years than that. He says he wants to stay in Philly, you know, but if for some reason we can't get Schwarber re-signed, there's another lefty that's going to hit the open market that I would love to have if we let Schwarber go, and we could sign him to a big deal, and that would be Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker right now is on a 1-year deal with the Cubs. He's got 1 year left. He was traded from the Houston Astros. There's not talks of an extension being signed yet with Chicago. If Tucker takes it all the way to the end, okay, the Cubs will give him a qualifying offer, which will probably be like $23 million. Tucker's not going to take it because Tucker's in line to get a multi-year deal. I would throw all my money. You're talking about we had the Juan Soto sweepstakes next year. If you let Schwarber walk, and then you're going to have other guys off the books. The following year, Nick Castellanos will be off the books. I would sign Kyle Tucker, man. Put your money in that basket, the Kyle Tucker basket. Let's sign Kyle. You replace one Kyle with another. You lost a Schwarber, you pick up a Tucker. You can do that. And for what it's worth, Taijuan Walker is looking better than he looked last spring. So he's throwing harder. So you can never have enough pitching, right? I don't know. If you can build up his value to trade him, trade him. Because now I feel like we have a lot of pitching. Yeah, Adam, that's it, brother. I saw a lineup where Schwarber's batting fourth this year. It would give him the opportunity to knock in runs. It would. I heard that too. And it sounded like Thompson's open to that. And it sounded like Schwarber's open to that. So ultimately what you're going to have, if that were the case, you're going to have Trey Turner leading off. You're going to have Bryce Harper batting second. I know a lot of people will say, well, best hitters that should bat third. Well, they say now metrics, your best hitter should bat second. So Harper would bat second. Your third hitter would probably be Alec Boehm, which I'm fine with. He's a contact hitter. You can put the bat on the ball. He doesn't have to hit home runs. Your fourth hitter would be Schwarber. Fifth hitter would be Nick Castellanos, and then you fell in the lineup from there. But I think I would be cool with that. I got no problem with that. Turner can lead off, and maybe Turner then steal some more bags and not try and hit 3-run bombs all the time. But Schwarber played well, man. I mean, I had no problem with the way Schwarber played at leadoff this year. I mean, he did his job, and he really grew. And he did what he needed to do. The year prior, he didn't do so well, but this past season, he really wrecked it, man. He had like a 370 on base percentage, man. That's pretty awesome for your leadoff hitter. All right, guys. I know it's 8:00 now, so I got to log off. Matty B's show's going on right now. Go ahead and tune in to Matty B. Say what's up. Tell him sorry for going late. We'll talk to you guys all next time. Take care, everyone. Peace.